guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make some Jamaican beef patties. I love beef patties and I like making them from scratch. That's the best way to get them. I mean, you go to the store and you get you some beef patties, they're okay. But it's always best when you make it at home. So follow me to the kitchen. So in here I have 2 1/8 cups of flour, 1 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, a pinch of salt, a pinch of black pepper, and you guys want to put 3/4 teaspoon of turmeric. I put that in there for color. I love it. It's really good. You want to put 1/4 teaspoon of curry powder. You want to use 2 tablespoons of shortening. Shortening gives it that good flaky crust, and 1 cup of unsalted butter, 1 stick, which is right here. And I'm going to use 1 cup of water. And when you guys put this butter in, you guys want to, this is how you're going to do it, because you're going to actually blend it all in together. Give it a little stir. Mix it up. If you want, you can use your hands to blend it in, or you can use a fork, whichever one works for you. But what you want to do is mash it all in with the flour. And the consistency that you're looking for is going to be a kind of like a breadcrumb kind of consistency. So this is why you guys are not going to melt the butter. You don't want to melt the butter. You want the butter to be cold. So when you're actually blending it in with the flour and everything, is giving you this consistency of like a breadcrumb kind of consistency. So this is the consistency that you want your flour to have. Look at this. This is great. This is how you want it to look before you add the water into it. This is exactly how you want it to look. See how it looks like breadcrumbs? That's the consistency that you want it to have before you add the water to it. Okay, so do not put the water in all at once. At least I don't. Put some in, and I mix it in. Because the consistency that you wanted to have like a Play-Doh kind of consistency. And if you guys happen to make it a little too soft, or you make it a little too hard when you need to add, you can always adjust it. Don't think that because of the measurements that you can't adjust it to correct anything that goes wrong. You can always adjust it, because this is how you want it to be, like Play-Doh. Perfect. We're going to get all of that. We want all of this from around here. So And once you have this beautiful ball here, that's like Play-Doh, as you can see, you guys, it's like Play-Doh. So once you have this ball, what you're gonna do is let it sit. You're not gonna do nothing else to it. Let it sit. You're gonna cover it and let it sit. Now you're gonna let this sit for half an hour. And while this is sitting, we're going to make the filling. Now while we're waiting for the dough, you're going to take 1.5 scallions. You can use 1 scallion or 2, depending on you. A half an onion. I have 3 cloves of garlic. I have a piece of ginger that I have sliced. Some fresh thyme. And depending on how spicy you guys want it, depends on how much scotch bonnet you use. I'm using a whole scotch bonnet. If you don't want it that spicy, you may use a half of a scotch bonnet. It depends on how spicy you like it. I kind of like mine's a little spicy. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to blend it up and I'm going to show you how it looks. Now I have blended up all of those ingredients, as you guys can see. It's a little finer in little chunks. This is how you want it to be. That's perfect. So now that I've blended this down, this is what I'm going to add to the ground beef. You want to add a little paprika to it, just a tad, and some ground allspice. Gives it that flavor. And then we're just going to blend it again. Oh, if you guys could only smell this. Oh my goodness, look at this. So this is what I'm going to this is what I'm going to use to season up my ground beef. Perfect. Now for the filling, I'm going to season my meat. Some people season their meat in the pot. I prefer to season my meat first and then cook it. So I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper, and you guys want to use lean beef only because I don't know, I prefer lean beef over any other beef because it produces so much more grease. And you're going to use some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, black pepper. You're pretty much going to season it to taste. I don't use a lot of salt, but you want to season your meat to the way you want it to taste. So everything can be adjusted. All of my seasoning measurements can be adjusted. If you feel that you want it to be a little more of anything, that's what you do. Okay, so we have it. So in this pan, we're going to add some oil. I prefer sunflower oil. You guys can use whichever oil you guys, you like. I prefer sunflower oil. Because then we're going to saute, cook down this nice consistency of garlic, scallion, onion, all that good stuff. We're going to cook it, and then we're just going to add the meat to this. Now after you cook this for a few minutes, You don't want to overcook this because you don't want your garlic to burn. That you don't want. So now you're going to drop in your ground beef. Now, as you know, I already seasoned my ground beef, so I really don't have to season it again because I already did. Okay. Just let this cook down. Now, while this is cooking down, as you see, this is how you want the consistency to be. You don't want big chunks. You want it to be small pieces. So now what you want to do, you want to add some browning. A little browning, some breadcrumb, this is what's going to make the broth and everything stick together. There you go. I'm going to put a little more broth in there. And just a little tad more. There we go. You might have to put a, you're gonna let this simmer on low and let those flavors all get in there. So now that we've had our dough in the refrigerator for a half an hour, as you can see, you want to place powder there, and you want to flour your dough. You guys could see, you want to actually have this like 2 inches, the consistency. You don't want to have it too thin. Like 2. So now I'm going to actually cut it in as many as I want it. This is how you guys want it. Now this is the finishing touches after I've put the filling, and I put some egg wash on the top of them. And now they'll be going into the oven. Well, this is the finishing touch.